In this episode, Tom is joined by Andrew as we visit with Mary Campana, the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity for Kerr County.
Go for it. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode of the award-winning Hill Country Podcast. Today, we are thrilled to have with me Mary Campana, and she is going to talk to us about Habitat for Humanity. As always, joined by Andrew Gay as our sound production and design. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks, Tom.
So, Mary, first of all, welcome, and thank you so much for taking time to visit with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us what your current role, Mary.
I'm the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity.
And what is Habitat for Humanity?
We build affordable housing for primarily population of 60% of the median family income and below.
And where do you operate?
Our office is in one of the model homes in our Maud Jennings subdivision, Meadowview and Legion Lane right there. And we have different developments going on around town.
Is Habitat for Humanity a national organization?
International.
International
Yes.
organization. Where is it headquartered in the U.S.?
It is in Americus, Georgia.
And is are you part of the state chapter or some other smaller group?
We're the Kerr County affiliate, but we're members of the Habitat for Texas and also the international organization.
I can't talk about Habitat for Humanity without talking about President Carter.
Right.
And do you feel like he has brought a level of visibility to Habitat for Humanity because of his own charitable work?
Yes, he put it on the map. A lot of people think Jimmy started Habitat for Humanity. He didn't. He was principal, and Millard Fulmore started it. And so he was walking, doing a walk across the country for awareness, and walked by the White House. And Jimmy said, "What are you doing?" And that's when they started their conversation. So
you talked to us a little bit about Habitat, what Habitat for Humanity does. Can you talk about some of your projects in Kerrville and or Kerr County?
Sure. We started in 1989. So we just did our 124th house. Dedication was on Saturday, this last Saturday. We are finishing out a development, Maud Jennings, which we were started by Burley Burleson, Bill Blackburn, and Maud Jennings. We're three community leaders in Kerrville that started our organization. So we're finishing the last two houses in there, and we just purchased 8.5 acres right behind Weston Home Place, so off of East Main, and we're going to build 47 homes there.
How do you determine the types of homes to build, or is that set by the national organization? You just follow a plan?
We determine, we have our construction director, and he designs the homes. There are some home designs you can get from our international office. But what we do is keep the design simple because we build with volunteer labor. So we can do that. But type of groups that we're going to, we're adding a new affordable housing product. In Kerr County, we're going to add workforce housing because there's such a need for workers. They don't have a place to live when they move for a job here. And so 36 of the homes are going to be moderate income, and it'll be for workforce, and 11 homes will be traditional habitat.
How does a person or a family apply or qualify for a home with Habitat for Humanity?
You know, I just was leaving the office and I said, how many people are on our waiting list? We have 395 people on our waiting list, and we haven't even publicized it. So we'll put a call out to the community, and there's 3 criteria to become a Habitat homeowner. One is financial need, that you will make 80% of the median family income and below, and you live in substandard housing, and your willingness to partner. Meaning our homeowners, it's a true partnership. They work 350 sweat equity hours on their home, and they have to qualify for a 0% interest mortgage, but they have to have debt to income and qualify to be able to have their home.
Does Habitat for Humanity finance these homes, or do you have an outside organization such as Fannie Mae or Fannie Mac?
We finance them ourselves.
Let's talk about the construction of them, because that's, to my mind, either the most beautiful thing about Habitat for Humanity or one of the most visually striking things is seeing a person all the way from a Jimmy Carter to Joe Smith volunteering and doing something to help construct a home. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Right. I mean, that's the strength of Habitat for Humanity, is to build community, and that's how we do it. There's something about being on the construction site. A lot of corporations will volunteer with us, church organizations, just any kind of affinity group. We're going to start a women's build, those kind of things. But once you are with someone in a different environment, using power tools and that kind of thing, there's something about the barriers that are just dropped when that happens. And it's just this amazing sense of community. And you're building next to the Habitat homeowner. And so you don't need to have any skill. We have what we call our regs, and they are truly our unsung heroes. There's 15 men that come and build with us every day that we build, and they've been doing it for 20 years. So they take the other volunteers that will come on site and teach them how to do things, show them how to, put in batten boards, caulking, all that kind of thing. So you'll be taught how to do the skills.
So in another life, I play in a world called legal and regulatory compliance.
Okay.
And in that space is a nonprofit called Society of Corporate Compliance and Ethics.
Okay.
And they have an annual conference, Sunday to Wednesday in some location. But wherever they are, they dedicate Saturday to sending a volunteer group to Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
For one day work. And the people who attend that always say that's the most meaningful part of their entire conference week, and that the friends they make in that process literally stay friends for life. Is that sort of the experience you see when people volunteer for Habitat for Humanity construction?
Yes. Yes. Once you experience that, it's kind of this neutral place that you can just work together with others for a common cause. And once you experience that, you're hooked for life. Many of our volunteers will talk about, when did you first do it? And it's like, well, I volunteered in high school or college or something like that. So they're hooked. Where did you do that with that group that you?
We've done it in Atlanta, Chicago, Las Vegas, Orange County, California, Las Vegas 3 years in a row, Washington, D.C., Boston, Philly, are the ones that kind of come to mind.
Okay. So how about Kerrville?
Well, you have to have a place big enough to house 3,000 people for a conference.
Yes, yes.
So
but we're close to San Antonio.
We're close to San
Antonio, man. That's what
Yeah, but
San
there's
Antonio.
another Habitat affiliate in San Antonio. But
So how long have you been in Kerrville, Mary?
I've been 1.5 years. Can't believe it.
Where did you come from?
I came from Austin.
Were you doing the same work there?
Yeah, I was at Austin Habitat for Humanity before that. My whole career has been nonprofit, but once I found my home, pardon the pun, I've stayed with Habitat.
Tell us about the fundraising efforts here locally. What does the local chapter do?
Well, it's traditional fund development office. We raise money through special events. We have a golf tournament right now is our largest event. We do grant writing, individual giving, major gifts. So it's just that, traditional fund development strategy that multiple things are going on all at once.
Is your funding part local, part national, part governmental, or grants? Can you kind of just generally describe that?
It kind of goes the other way. For our international office, we tithe to them, and that's how they can build international homes. We don't currently get government funding. We are get some public funding through EIC and through that. Our grants are private foundation, Peterson Foundation, Stevens, those kind of things, those foundations. In larger city, there's a little bit more federal grants and that kind of thing.
If our listeners wanted more information on either Habitat for Humanity, the national organization, or more importantly, the local chapter, what might be the best place or places for them to go?
To go to habitatkerr.org. And we also have a Facebook page of Habitat Kerr. And call us. If you would like to come, I'd love to give anybody a tour. If you have a group that you want to do team building or just come out on site, we're happy to do that. So
Talk to us about the team building, because I guess that's what I saw through my SCCE connections, that team building.
There is, and I build on the site quite a bit. My brother's an attorney, and he's like, just carry the water, Mary. But it was fine. It's just this. It's something about it. Just I think mostly because the homeowner is there too. The other parts of the community are there, and you're all working for a common cause. It's just something about it just bonds you through that. There are some groups that maybe are elderly and can't volunteer on site, so they'll come and they cook lunch and that kind of thing and bring lunch out. That's what we did. We just did a partnership with Schreiner University and First Presbyterian, and they both financially paid for the house, and they came and volunteered on every Wednesday. And Dr. McCormick was out there. And then, so he's working with members of faculty and students that might not be working with him on a regular basis. And so it just, you take down the barriers and you're in a neutral place, and he's sharing his playlist, and and they're all singing along with 80s music. So there's I think it's just because it's such a neutral, safe place, if you will.
You mentioned something that my friends would comment on as much as anything, which is they're typically not around the people that are these homeowners. They don't hang out together. They don't work together. They literally never see each other except at some type of Habitat for Humanity construction project. And it strikes me that that is as important a part of this as anything.
Right. And that's the part of community that Habitat builds. For the first time, a Habitat homeowner has a community that they feel a part of, and they're, contributing. They pay taxes. They do everything else that everyone like us do. So they feel like something larger than themselves. They're very committed to the community. I ask homeowners many times, what's the first thing you're going to do when you move into your house? And they said, I'm going to invite my neighbors over for coffee, or I'm going to have a barbecue. And things that we take for granted, they don't necessarily have the space or a safe environment to do. So kids can now have their friends spend the night and that kind of thing. So we live in the community at 5 o'clock. There's at least 10 kids on the door, knocking on my door. I do give donuts, but so that come and visit. And I encourage people to come see a Habitat community, and you'll see kids running around, playing basketball, riding their bikes, just like everything else.
Mary, we're getting near the end of our time for this podcast, but is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we leave?
I think it's just that there's many ways you could help Habitat, whether volunteering on site, help with our homeowner education classes. There's bankers and real estate people and insurance agents that come and teach our homeowners different aspects. We do the Ramsey training for budgeting and that kind of thing. You can contribute financially. You can bring a group of friends to come build. You could bring, Texas Exes. They come build every February, so come join us and come be part of something that you can't imagine how great it is.
Well, Mary, I wanted to thank you again for taking the time to visit with us today, and hope we can continue this conversation.
Be great. Thank you for having me.
This is Tom Fox again. Thank you so much for listening to the award-winning Hill Country Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, I hope you'll subscribe, rate, and review wherever great podcasts are listened to. The Hill Country Podcast is a part of and a production of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network.